Hello everyone, and this is my first video. I've been telling you like so many times on my page that I will be posting videos about English language and about linguistics. This video is going to be about linguistics, and it's going to be about introduction to phonetics. The reason why I posted this now at this time exactly is because I got so many requests from people who, it's like students who study at the Department of Translation or English, maybe like the College of Education also take this course, and they all failed this subject from in their first attempt. So I decided to, make a short video about the introduction of phonetics. Yeah, this course is going to be mainly for people who already speak English. I won't be speaking a lot of Arabic because, most of the terms that used in phonetics and in linguistics in general, it's kind of hard to translate or even like the idea of it into other languages, if you know what I mean. So basically, phonetics means the study of sounds that we use in speech. And as I was speaking now, or like as I'm speaking, sorry, as I'm speaking now, I'm making sounds. And so phonetics basically studies how these sounds are made. So that's the way sounds are produced. Like, how am I making these sounds? What is involved in making these sounds? And the way sounds are received and decoded by the brain. Now, as you guys listen to me, your brains, like your ears will get sound waves, like the wave in the picture, right? And then this sound will get to your brain, and then your brain will decode it. Will decode it to its basic units, to its basic features, in order to get the idea of the sound, and like the sound after it and the sound after it, in order to come up like on the word level. So when we get to the word level, we will, like, that's phonology, and we will talk in details about it. So now let's stick to producing sounds, how the brain decodes these sounds, and the physical properties of sounds. Now, of course, in phonetics, in your class of phonetics, basically at college, you don't deal with the how sounds are perceived and decoded by the brain, or maybe you do something about the physical properties of sounds. So we will focus on the production of sounds or speech sounds. All right. And in phonetics, basically, it has three branches. We have acoustic phonetics, which is the study of the physical properties of sounds. So that's called acoustic phonetics. We have the auditory phonetics, how sounds are received by the ear and decoded by the brain. And articulatory phonetics, the study of the production of speech sounds. As I said, we will be focusing on the articulatory phonetics. All right. Now, first, in order for us to understand how the speech sounds are produced, we need to understand what we use in our body to make these sounds. So let's talk about the speech apparatus, or the systems in our bodies that we use to make these sounds. So mainly we use the respiratory and digestive systems to make speech sounds. Now, of course, the brain, which is the engine of our body, directs these two systems, and everything starts in the lungs. The lungs that we use, to breathe in and out and all of that. Now, we're going to also learn about the differences between ingressive and egressive sounds. Now, whether the sounds is ingressive or egressive, it involves the lungs in that. But ingressive means when we say the sound, we breathe in, but egressive means when we speak the sound, we breathe out. Now, the air is manipulated by the organs of speech, or the articulators. We call them the organs of speech. Now, the organs of speech that we use, after the lungs, we get some other organs. We use these organs to manipulate the air. Now, like manipulating the air, what makes the sound. All right. The speech apparatus again. Let's learn some terms about this apparatus here or system. So let's look at the trachea, and the trachea is basically the windpipe, قصبة الهوائية, right? And then we have the larynx, which is the voice box that contains the vocal folds. Larynx, الحنجرة, بيها الحبال الصوتية. So like the vocal folds are like one of the most important, organs like in the speech apparatus. We're going to have a look at them, by the way. And then we have the glottis, and the glottis is something that is not actually an organ in the body, but it's the space between the vocal folds. And I will let you look at the glottis, of course, a picture of it. And then we have the epiglottis, which is a membranous flap that covers the glottis during swallowing. Now, like epiglottis is what keeps us alive. يعني لو ما الإبيغلوتس كلتنا نموت من ناكل مثلا أو أي شيء. So the epiglottis it covers the glottis during swallowing, like when you swallow food and drink water and all of that. And then we have the pharyngeal, nasal, and oral cavities. The pharyngeal cavity, تجويف الحلقي, and then we have the oral, تجويف الفم, and the nasal, تجويف الأنف. And then we have the uvula. This is very important, although it's not like, let's say, well, yeah, basically it's important in all languages, yeah. And I'll say why later when we talk about nasal sounds. The uvula is a fleshy lobe at the back of the root of the mouth, and we call it lisan al-mizmar. All right. The alveolar ridge. Now, if you put your tongue, like lisan, if you put your tongue behind your teeth, right, and your upper teeth, العلوية, السنان العلوية, you will feel that there's like kind of a rough ridge there, so that's the alveolar ridge. For example, we use it to pronounce certain sounds. And then we have the hard palate, which is the bony part of the roof of the mouth, سقف الحلق, سقف الفم, اللي يكون صلب. But if you take your tongue like way back, you'll see the soft palate, which is the soft part of the roof of the mouth, and we call it the velum. And then, at the end of the velum, we have the uvula, which is the lisan al-mizmar. This is a picture of the organs of speech. So basically, this is the glottis, which is the space between the two vocal folds. These are the vocal folds, and so like everything in here is going the larynx, al-hanjura. This is the epiglottis right here. So that's what keeps us alive. When we eat something, this epiglottis covers this passage, so the food would go here to the esophagus, right? And here we have the pharynx, right? This is the uvula, lisan al-mizmar. This is the velum, which is the soft palate. So you can touch it with your tongue, like at the end, like that. That's what I'm doing now. And the hard palate, you can also touch it with your tongue. This is the alveolar ridge right behind your teeth. That ridge, that rough bony area. So these are the teeth. The teeth are also very important in producing sounds, and the lips. This is the nasal cavity. This is the oral cavity. Now, if you look at the tongue, this is our tongue, right? So the tongue has 4 parts. We call like the first one the tip, the front of the tongue, the back of the tongue, and the root of the tongue. All right. So, I mean, like if you want to have a I know that I'm going a bit fast, but of course you can always stop the video and read things that are on the slides and all of that. You can just control the flow of the video, basically. All right. And if you have any question, just simply write that in a comment, and I'll be more than happy to answer your question. Now, this picture is two pictures of the vocal folds in 2 different states. So like this is the back, this is our neck, this is the front, like here, right and left. Now, this is like a cartilage, and these are the real vocal folds. These are the real ones, الحبال الصوتية, right? And these like just two flaps, or like we also call them like the false vocal folds. And the epiglottis, like this is the epiglottis that covers this whole thing when we eat something, right? And here, that's the glottis That's like the when the vocal folds are not closed, this is the glottis. And I can teach you how to make the glottis, and by just saying the sound. When you say it, the vocal folds are open, so the air comes out to your mouth and out of the mouth, and then you will make the sound. That's why like we call it a glottal sound. Now, breathing and speech. Of course, like, without breathing, we can't just make sounds. And so all sounds in English are pulmonic or egressive. That means we breathe out as we speak them. So like when I make the sound b, d, g, j, like the air is coming out, so it's an egressive sound. Or like pulmonic, because I make it using my lungs, pushing the air out of the mouth. And basically an adult human breathes 16 times per minute, so that's once every 3.75 seconds. And so that makes it 1.876 seconds for inhaling and exhaling, right? This rhythm is not maintained during speech. Of course, when we speak, we change this rhythm. Like we don't, like sometimes I say a long sentence a long sound like ooh, right? So this sound, it took me actually more than 1.876 seconds to exhale, right? And my brain manipulates this because my brain knows that I want to say this sound. The brain has the ability to regulate the rhythm for breathing and extends any of the breathing cycles. And this is why we can utter long utterances. Utterances are sentences that we say, of course, but sentences are basically things that we write down, if you just don't know it. All right, so for now, I will stop here at the voiced and voiceless sounds. Let me see what happens after that. So yeah, basically, yeah, I'll stop here, and hopefully in my next video, I'll just give you time to look at what I just said. Maybe you can look for on the internet for some resources on that. You can read some scholarly articles, and I will be posting some videos about finding scholarly articles using Google Scholar. There's a lot of things that we can use with Google, and a lot of us maybe don't know about it. Anyway, so you can just find scholarly articles, and of course I'm always here. Just if you have any questions anytime, you can just text me, you can just comment under the video. And thank you for your time and for your listening.